Games and Fears by Gabby Moreno. This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman as we turn to a dramatic scene that unfolded Saturday when 5 Japanese American elders, survivors of the U.S. internment camps, engaged in civil disobedience outside the Fort Sill Army post in Oklahoma, where the Trump administration plans to indefinitely detain 1,400 immigrant and refugee children starting next month. Fort Sill was an internment camp for 700 Japanese American men in 1942. It was one of more than 70 sites where the U.S. government incarcerated about 120,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans during World War II, including one of 14 U.S. Army bases. President Obama first used Fort Sill in 2014 to detain migrant children seeking asylum from violence in Central America. Last December, Jacqueline Kahl, a 7-year-old Guatemalan girl, became one of 6 children to die in Border Patrol custody in less than a year after she was held in a Customs and Border Patrol facility near the site of another former U.S. internment camp in Lordsburg, New Mexico. Well, Democracy Now! Was there in Fort Sill, Oklahoma on Saturday when the Japanese American elders incarcerated in these camps risked arrest to protest along with descendants of survivors.
My name is Satsuki Ina. I'm a former child incarceree during World War II. This is a photograph of me when I was in prison. 75 years ago, 120,000 of us were removed from our homes and forcefully incarcerated in prison camps across the country. We're here today to protest the repetition of history. We were in American concentration camps. We were held under indefinite detention. We were without due process of law. We were charged without any evidence of being a threat to national security, that we were an unassimilable race, that we would be a threat to the economy. We hear these exact words today regarding innocent people seeking asylum in this country. And unlike 1942, when America turned their back on us while we were disappearing from our homes, our schools, our farms, and our jobs, we're here today to speak out, to protest the unjust incarceration of innocent people seeking refuge in this country. We stand with them, and we are saying, stop repeating history.
My name is Kiyoshi Ina. I'm from Concord, California, and I spent the first 4.5 years in a concentration camp. I was born in Topaz, Utah, and I'm here to protest against the incarceration of the immigrant children here at Fort Sill.
I'm Nikki Nojima Lewis, and on December 7th, 1941, in Seattle, Washington, I was celebrating my 4th birthday when the FBI interrupted my birthday party and removed my father to Lordsburg, New Mexico, the DOJ camp, and subsequently Santa Fe, New Mexico. My mother and I were incarcerated at the Puyallup Fairgrounds, called Camp Harmony, and later in Minidoka, Idaho.
You cannot protest on Fort Sill. If you want to protest, you have to go across the street, the highway, and that needs to happen right now. Let's go, let's go, let's go, now, today.
My name is Shizu Omori.
No, ma'am, you may not. You may, again, I will say this is the last time. You cannot protest on Fort Sill. You need to move across the street now.
Shizu, were you going to make a statement?
Yes.
Apparently you didn't hear what I said.
I'm sorry, sir.
You need to move today, now, right now. Move.
Otherwise, what will happen?
I don't know. I'm not going to arrest you, but you need to move now.
Then we're not going to move.
Yes, you're going to move.
If you're not going to arrest us, we're not going to move.
Go ahead.
Okay, yes, I spent 3.5 years at Post in Arizona, an American concentration camp during World War II, and I'm here to bear witness to the travesty of the American justice system, in that the family separation policy, which is ruining the lives of these children. I'm very incensed about the government policy of separating parents, and we the people have to stand up and protest this.
My name's Tom Ikeda. I'm the executive director of Densho. It's a nonprofit in Seattle. And one of the things that Densho does is we're the story keepers for the community, especially what happened during World War II. And so I came here to honor the story of Kanesaburo Oshima, who was shot and killed here. 9 years ago, I interviewed his son in Kona, Hawaii, and he told me how this man with 11 children and businesses in Kona was taken for no crime and brought here. And the trauma of being here, the stress, he ended up essentially, as his son said, snapped. And he started climbing the fence in broad daylight saying, "I want to go home." And as the other internees said, "Don't shoot," a guard came up and shot him on the back of his head and killed him. And so in his honor, I'm here to remember Kanesaburo Oshima.
My name is Paul Tomita. I'm from Seattle, Washington. This is me in 1943. As a 4-year-old.
It's English. Get out.
And so what we did with here is, I have to have this to get out of
Look.
Minnesota.
I understand your issues, okay? But you cannot protest on Fort Sill.
All of our elders who are incarceration survivors have stated publicly that they are willing to be arrested in defense of the children who are going to be brought here.
Satsuki, can you please describe what's happening now?
They're wanting to remove us. We've been removed too many times. If that's what it comes to,
People understand.
we will stay here, and
What don't you people understand?
Understand the whole history of this country, and we aren't going to let it happen again. What were you saying, Satsuki?
that we want to make a stand. We want to say that we are protesting the fact that 1,400 children are going to be brought to this military site. We're here because we do not want to have that happen. And as former children of prison camps, of concentration camps in America, we are saying no more, never again.
That was the scene at Fort Sill Army Post in Oklahoma Saturday, where Japanese American survivors of U.S. internment camps, which they called concentration camps, risked arrest Saturday to protest the detention of migrant children there at Fort Sill starting next month. In a few minutes, we'll be joined by one of the organizers. First, I want to turn to some of the Oklahoma residents who joined in the protest in solidarity at a nearby park Saturday. Some drew attention to how Fort Sill was also used to incarcerate Native Americans and housed a boarding school for Native children.